All right, I'm here today with the guys from Rofi James. Rofi James are a pop rock band from Galway in Ireland. They've recently surpassed 100,000 streams on Spotify with their second last single, which is I Tried, and their current single is currently following up quickly behind it at about 30,000 streams just in a number of weeks. And I suppose I have a lot of people, asking me, how the guys operate and what they do. So I said I'd invite you on here for a chat today to see what's going on and to catch up with everyone. So look, I have a few questions for you guys, if that's okay. And we'll run through them. I'll kick them off here. So just first of all, could you give everyone a quick rundown on the band Rofi James, just from your inception up to current day?
We Rofi James, we started just out of college as a two-piece, funnily enough, myself and Ronan. I think we were about 16 around that age, and we just kind of started busking in Shop Street in Galway, which is Galway has a big kind of busking culture. So we were acoustic back then. I'd have the cajon or the kick drum and the snare, and Ronan had his acoustic guitar, and we'd just be kind of jamming on the streets of Galway and all that. And it kind of just started, it seemed to grow legs, and we started to get a kind of a following in the colleges in Galway. And Ronan was in NUIG at the time, and I was in GMIT. So we started playing a lot of the college kind of festivals, like Moxygen, and a lot of the gigs at the student balls, like the arts ball and stuff like that, which at the time would have had about close to 1,000 people at them, and maybe even more. So that's kind of how we started to expand from the acoustic set into the kind of the more full band sound. And to do that, we needed more members. So we kind of started bringing in other people along the way. And I suppose we got Joe then down the line about I'd say a year and a half ago at this stage.
2 years now, I think, at this stage.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, 2 and a bit years of everything, yeah.
Yeah, we started kind of trying to hone the sound with the bigger band, and I suppose that's when we were kind of, well, struggling is probably the wrong word, but we were kind of finding that a bit tough, and I think that's kind of when we started working with you, Dave, which kind of helped us kind of hash things out a bit more, and take the best bits out of the songwriting and make it more of a band sort of situation and fill in the gaps there. That's kind of my thoughts. Anyways, Ronan, you probably have a few comments on that.
Well, I remember just like with writing the songs, for example, Love Shot, like it was always a song where you wanted a bigger production.
Yeah. And
like we'd gotten to guys, we were in competitions before, and we won a thing at Grouse Lodge, and he didn't really give a shit about us, the guy who we'd done the recording with, and it was just an okay product. And that's like you asked me would it be alright to mix a few of the tracks, David, and that's actually when we started working. We sent you on Food for Your Love, and we started working with that back in 2016, and it's just straight away there was no looking back from that sound, which is the sound we always wanted, I think, and to be honest, there's no looking back really, like.
Definitely, yeah.
Brilliant. And then I suppose up into more recent times, then you're getting to be an established band now. Is any kind of big stuff you've done recently?
We the Galway 2020 was Galway was chosen as the capital of culture this year. Obviously, before the coronavirus, all that sort of thing happened. It was a big year for the city, but in the lead up to the main opening ceremony, there was a tour around lots of different parts of Galway, and we actually ended up headlining that tour, which was brilliant. Between 15 and 16,000 people, which was amazing, playing every night for the week, playing our own music. That was brilliant. That's definitely one of the highlights from the year. And obviously the new single that came out. The lads probably have other things that they think of as well.
Yeah, it was it was cool even just to like tour around their own county.
Yeah.
into like complete different, like it was Clifton, Spittle, Tume, Ballinasloe, let me get this, Fortumna, and
Athenry.
Athenry.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So it was literally like, 6 different places and diverse places entirely around the county. So it was cool to do that. And that was at the beginning of the year too. Like that was the first week in February. So it just gave us like a really good positive start to the year, where we kind of felt like this was going to be our year now, once we push on.
Yep, very good. So just, I suppose, moving on, I Tried, which is your second last single, as we were saying, has just surpassed 100,000 streams on Spotify, and the current single, which is Every Time I Make You Hate Me, is only out a few weeks, and that's already hitting around the 30,000 streams mark. So I suppose, these aren't your first releases. I think these are your fourth and fifth releases. So what is the difference in your mind between these releases that are performing really well, versus the old releases, or is it just something that it's something that kind of ramps up over time as algorithms recognize the band, or how have these songs performed so well?
I personally think with the songs as well, they're way more mature than our previous songs as well. There's more substance to the lyrics in them as well, which was something we kind of developed over time. So that they're stories that I came up with about just not being loyal to in a relationship. Both songs really are, and I think people can relate to that, and they're just better written than any of the other tunes. And I think we were more wise. Before that, all we used to focus on was just radio, and we were performing poorly on Spotify. So we were like coming up to I Tried, which is in like November 2018. We were wondering how could we actually do better on Spotify. So we changed our tactics, because it's grand being on radio, but when you're not getting many plays on Spotify, you kind of defeat the purpose of being on radio. So then we changed our tactic, and there was definitely, for I Tried, we got onto a big Spotify algorithm at the very start, and it pushed up the plays. And then Jim, you can speak about this playlist for the Every Time I Make You Hate Me, this one.
This time around, we kind of worked on a bit more social marketing as well, like things like Facebook and Instagram ads and that sort of thing, which is handy to kind of reach people who would like similar artists to you and your actual music, opposed to just sharing it out to, say, your grandmother and your two aunties on Facebook and that sort of thing. You can actually target people who like your type of music. And we tried, that's something we're still working on at the moment. We're only new to it, but it's definitely an avenue that's I think it's been beneficial to us for this release for sure. And I suppose time will tell how that goes.
Yeah, it's all trial and error too. I think where you'll try that, exactly, and then you'll analyze it after, just to see and use that going forward, basically.
Yeah. And in terms of before, myself and Ronan used to run the social media before, and we were okay at it. But Joe has kind of taken the lead on that over the past while, and it's kind of been more consistent and that sort of thing. So I'd say for any other bands, bit of advice would be have consistent social media posts and engage with the fans. Ask them what song do they like and what's their favorite part of it. So it's kind of, you're talking one-on-one with them, opposed to just spouting out something about yourself.
Yeah,
very good
connection.
Yeah.
So
I think what we're saying here is that everything feeds in together. So when we go back to I Tried, I think knowing the process that we went through before that, we probably neglected lyrics a little bit, and that was the first one, where we really sat down and made sure that the lyrics that were in the song were really going to grab people, and then we probably modernized the sound a little bit as well, but with still kind of keeping within the realms of the band. So I definitely think with I Tried, I mean, you could see that straight away is the lyrics were grabbing people and they were pulling them in. And then when you're talking about, the current release, that, you've started to do some marketing now, and even dabbling with different platforms like Hyped It, and just getting people engaged is fantastic. And then obviously Joe has come in on the social media side of things, to box that side of things off. So the message there seems to me that it's not one single thing that gets you up there. It's all these different elements that are feeding in together that have to be done right.
Yeah, big time.
Brilliant, good stuff.
And even remember with I Tried, we spent an actual, which we never done, just one day solely on lyrics. And that was the day done, which we'd never done before as a band, which was cool, and it definitely made a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we kind of figured out what formula works better for us now, which did take a few different try runs or whatever to all the previous maybe 2 or 3 songs. We were still figuring that out. I think for the last 2 I Tried, and every time I think we had more concrete structure to what works. And sitting down and hashing it out acoustically and getting those little things right before you get into the big production side of it.
Yep, perfect. Ronan, you'd probably have to start this one off, but can you tell people about your songwriting process, from the first idea, or the inception to kind of to the finished product? Maybe using the 2 newer songs I Tried and Every Time I Make You Hate Me just as examples.
Actually, they're 2 good ones because with I Tried, me and Jamie came up. We were messing around just trying to write just jamming, and we came up with I Tried. It was a lot faster, it was a lot different, but the hook was there, and it took. We remember it was way too fast. It was just like, 'cause baby, you know that I tried. It was really, really fast, and I think we nearly wanted to make it like a Gabrielle Alpin, not Gabrielle. The one, Call Me Maybe. What's her name again? We're kind of trying to make it like a tune like
Jepsen.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but like we brought it to the studio and we kind of went for a different approach. What sound did we want? Like when you asked us that, and it made way more sense, and it was made way more laid back, and there was a better flow to the tune. And then we went with Every Time Make You Hate Me. I wrote it just by myself. The very start of it, just by myself, came up with the hooks. I usually only come up with hooks, and like for a verse or a chorus, I'm pretty happy with that, and then try and bring it onto the band and kind of progress it from there. The song's never really done until you get into the studio, anyways. So it's finished in the studio,
Yeah,
with us.
And look at this. This is one of the things, I suppose some artists kind of they don't understand, or they wouldn't understand the way that Rofi James operate. But what I love about Rofi James is just the willingness to do whatever it takes, to get the best out of the music. So you really approach it with the team mentality, like that. Ronan, you come up with the hooks, kind of partially develop the lyrics and get some good parts, and then the guys in the band jam it out, and you go as far as you can, and then then obviously it comes in here, and we all sit down together, and we hash it out, and again, I can't stress this enough, when we're here, everyone is coming up with ideas. Nobody minds if their idea is used or not. It's all anyone cares is that the song is going to be as good, as it can be, and that's why I always can't wait to have Rofi James in the studio, because it's such a great process. Once it comes in here, it's great for me, anyways. And
Likewise.
yeah, I just
Same as
again, it's something I suppose when you're not an experienced artist, you know, you're trying to do everything yourself, and you know, you don't have to do everything yourself. That this is the thing. It can be a lot less stressful when you know, you have your team, and you know, different parts of the team do different.
Delegate things, so it's not all, you know, building up, like, exactly.
Very good. Another question: what advice, if any, would you give to any new artist starting out, or if you were starting out yourselves again, what advice would you give yourselves?
I think people starting out often put a lot of pressure on themselves and nearly overthink it. I think if you start off with the basics, write a good song, and don't be afraid of making mistakes as well. Everyone's going to do that. Don't try not to be as hard on yourself. Be realistic. Like, you're not going to release the sound of a chicken running around in a biscuit tin, but at the same time, you might have to.
Why not? That's our next single. Gone.
Yeah. Damn it! I let it out of the bag.
Out of the tin.
Yeah. But I think playing with as many people as you can, as many gigs or even jamming and stuff, will be really beneficial as well, because everyone has their own way of doing things, and you'll always come away from a jam or a practice session or even a gig having learned something, be it seeing someone do something, or even if you make a mistake or something like that, you'll be more conscious of not doing that the next time around. But I suppose go easy on yourself. I think a lot of people are very hard on themselves at the start. I probably said that already. What do you think, lads?
Yeah, go. I think just to coincide with that, like playing with as many people as possible, build up your contacts list as much as possible too. Like, there's an opportunity to meet anyone that could be any benefit whatsoever, go and meet them and just have that contact, and you never know where that might lead you. But the line, that could be the one contact that could make you, like.
And that's really important, is that it's the human connection, isn't it? It's you know, each DJ, you know, everyone, they're all human, and definitely, you know, if they know your face and you've met them and, you know, you made a good impression, it makes things so much easier.
Yeah,
definitely. And you never know who they might even go talking to as well, where they'll spread your name to someone else, you know.
Very good.
I'll act professional to a good extent. Like, if you're at a gig, don't be hammered out of your brains and like making an idiot of yourself if there's someone important there. But at the same time, you're not going to be stuck up. But you can just go up and introduce yourself if you have the time, and be real as well, because people can see through that. I think.
And don't email people at 9 at night. Do it at 9 to 5. You know.
If you're up late and you're being productive, schedule your emails for working hours.
Very good. And look, I would encourage people listening to this to listen to the guys in Rofi James here, because genuinely they are unbelievable at, you know, at networking with people and making really good connections, almost effortlessly, it seems to me anyway. But it's just it is your demeanor, and you know, it's how approachable you are, and you know, again, just what fun you are to work with, and professional and all that. So definitely I would encourage anyone to take notes. I suppose a similar question but slightly different. What advice would you give to artists that have, you know, been at it for a couple of years, but you know, they still haven't seen, you know, much traction?
To stick at it. That's we've been at it since 2000, and I think myself and James started in 2012 with Rofi James. And the thing is not to give up, because if you never know, like, you never know what's around the corner. There's some years we felt like just giving up, throwing in the towel, and it's usually when we feel like giving up when something really good happens. And it usually does happen, and you never know, and it's actually just keep working hard. And it's when you actually feel like giving up is the times where you need to actually work a little bit harder. And because I see a lot of artists that just they start off really well, then they stop and they change their name, and there's no point in doing that, you know, because you're still have the same songs. you know, and you're probably still going to be playing in the same place. You're better off just keep going at it and just doing it and keeping the head down. Because every musician has their bad days, like,
Yeah.
and they can go on for a while, but your luck does change if you keep working hard.
Yeah.
And
And to realize it is a very difficult thing to do. You know, it's I think people get down very quickly, but it is a hard thing to do, isn't it?
yeah, big
Yeah,
time.
definitely. And if you kind of feel like it's become a bit static, like don't be afraid to take risks, you know.
Yeah.
Just try and take a risk and see what'll happen. Like it's not as if it's going to be the end of the world if it doesn't work out. You just know, like trial and error again. You just know to not try that again, basically.
Big time.
You know.
Brilliant, fantastic. Finally, just one more question for you. What is the plan for Rofi James in this amazing year that is 2020 and beyond?
World domination.
We're going to we have it under wraps. We think we have a vaccine in a few weeks. No, to release new music, we've nearly a song finished with yourself, which we started before the whole lockdown, and now we'll try and get it done. But it's really excited about that track more than any other track that we've had before.
Definitely.
Yeah, can't wait.
Plenty more ideas, potential songs in the works as well. So a lot more regular releases.
Yeah, definitely. Basically making the most of, like, you know, this kind of opportunity at home as well to like do a lot of work in the background.
Yeah.
To create a good base for ourselves. The fact that, like, you know, just because we're not gigging doesn't mean you can't still be working hard.
No,
like, there's a lot of stuff you can do just at home with your laptop, you know.
Yeah.
So just keep writing more music and releasing more music is the only way to go at it, really. We're going meeting up in a few weeks for when the restrictions lift a little bit more. We're going to Airbnb a house and we're just going to write music, and we'll have a shit ton of music. We're hoping to have an album by this time next year. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards is right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'll let you off the hook at that. Listen, thanks a million for sharing all those insights. I hope they're helpful to other people watching in. And yeah, onwards and upwards. And we'll chat to you soon.
Sound.
Cheers, Dave. Thanks a million.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.